Hi, everybody. Fred Firestone here. We're in for another pun conversation with our Punderdome pun conversation. Got to get that right. With a two-time Punderdome champ, Hot Cross Puns, aka Faith Yusko. Anyway, Faith, or Hot Cross Puns, what a pleasure to be with you today. Uh,
It's great to be here.
well, you'll be saying that at the end. That's what I focus in on. If you have a good experience, that's my objective. A little background on Hot Cross Puns. The last two domes, she's been in the winner's circle, second, I guess in January and February, she took the top spot. So you're on a roll, you're just killing it. A little background on you, first of all. When did you start with the Punderdome, and how long did it take before you thought you could make this work for you?
Yeah. So I think my first Punderdome was in the fall of 2018. I had just moved back to New York after some time working in DC, and my best friend knew I loved the board game and said, "Hey, like we got to go out to Brooklyn to see the Punderdome live." I was so excited because I had already loved the game and was excited to see how it turned out. And we loved it so much we were laughing hysterically the whole time. So like I knew by the end of the next show that I was gonna get there early and try to sign up for the next month's game.
And so this was 2018.
Yeah, I think it was either September or October. I think it was September because I remember participating in the costume contests later
Oh,
on.
and how long did it take before you felt you could do this? This was an environment where you could succeed in.
Um, hmm, I guess towards the end of my time when it was still live, I knew I was moving away, but I was getting more confident and kind of studying the competitors' different styles of delivering puns. So when it started going virtual, I was so excited to be able to be back in the dome from the other side of the country. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna make it to the winner's circle this time.
And you did famously. Uh,
Thank you.
just talk to me a little about how early years inspiration, pun inspiration. Do your parents play a role in that, and if so, how?
Yes, my parents are the number one contributors to my punny attitude towards life. Deb and Steve not only have raised me on puns and really goofy humor, but they actually made the trip out to the dome a couple of times. It
Yes,
became
I
a
remember
family
well.
affair.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it was, and my dad even competed one time. We went neck and neck in our round, but I beat him. I made it to the next the next round without him. But we pun back and forth. Now that I'm living far away, we send pun jokes in the family group chat. It's a great time.
What tell us? What was it? When you look back at the last two wins, uh, did you feel like you did something differently then, or what do you attribute your recent success to? What do you attribute it?
I Now that I'm more confident in how I'm punning, when it comes down to those, seconds where you're brainstorming, I start to group now what I'm doing. So it's not just like word vomit on the page. If I As I'm planning out puns, I try to see themes when I write them down, so it makes my delivery a little bit smoother. Because I it's fun, but I think your performance in the dome has a influence on, whether the audience digs it or not, for sure.
Tell me more about that. So, what do if you were advising someone that was just getting started, is it just your ability to come up with a pun and share that, or does it work better in a story format, or what would you suggest?
I mean, I've seen successful domers do it both ways. I love the different variety of delivery at the dome. But I think it's, we're not seeing the crowd on virtual dome, but trying to bring that energy and that love of puns to your delivery is, I think, the most important thing. Whether you have a more dry delivery or, the puns that make people blush are more your scene. As long as you're bringing the spirit to your performance, that's what I think makes the biggest impact.
So that's interesting. So, would you say the energy is a crucial component in terms of how your puns are perceived?
Yeah, absolutely. Even like I work with young kids. I'm an elementary school teacher, and I make certain vocal intonations when I'm making puns. So they're just starting to learn what puns are, but they realize if I deliver something a certain way, they're like, oh, I think that's a joke. So we're learning puns all around.
Let's pick up on that. Do you feel like, and we've talked a little bit about this, but I find it so interesting. Are puns a vehicle you use to further your ability to connect with your kids? And how does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. So where I work in Tucson, I have a lot of students who are English language learners. So they are phenomenal bilingual students, but a lot of times when you're learning English in a more formal setting, it can be really frustrating when there with the words that sound the same or have similar definitions. So punning kind of takes that frustration and makes it into something fun instead. So I have 9 and 10-year-olds in my classroom, so they are just at the age where they're finding their sense of humor, or thinking of themselves as comedians for the first time. So I intentionally teach about puns through classroom signs, but I also have stickers, and I want them to find fun in reading and writing and in learning. That's a really big part of who I am as a teacher.
So it's so interesting to me. So puns are not just an end in themselves; they're a means by which you push the envelope of fun and excitement and learning.
Yeah, especially not every student loves to read, but if you can give them this challenge to, hey, we're gonna look for these certain words or see if we can make something mean something different, it helps students connect to who, English may not be their favorite subject in school.
Any particular examples come to mind in terms of when you've done that and the result has been wow?
Um, so I don't have there's different examples, but one of my favorite like pun stories in the classroom was one of my first weeks as a teacher. I was having my students write letters to themselves. We were making a class time capsule because I teach English language arts and social studies. So I wanted the students to write rough drafts of their work. And I had the directions on the board. I was explaining everything. And I asked my students, okay, who can tell me what a rough draft is? And the students just stared at me like they had no clue what was going on. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to wait a second. Maybe they're shy. Um, Again, I'm waiting for them to tell me what a rough draft is. And this little girl in the back, she raises her hand and she goes, Miss, it's like an animal with a really, really tall neck. Because she thought I meant
Yeah,
giraffe, not
yeah,
draft.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so then connecting that, hey, you just made a pun, to save embarrassment, but also it helps me kind of see see where they're learning and what words mean to them. So that's one of my favorite pun classroom stories, and it was a funny memory for the whole class. So and they eventually got what a rough draft was.
So you're reinforcing learning and reinforcing humor as well. You brought the worlds together, so to speak.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, finding fun in learning is what keeps kids engaged, even in virtual learning. So
Does it give you as a virtual educator? Does it give you? Is it fun for you to do that? And I would think if it's
absolutely.
fun for you, you enhance that energy, which we talked about earlier, is so important.
Yeah. So, there's something to look forward to with my job every day. But I try to bring that same spirit I bring to Punderdome to my students. So yeah, it can be really hard to try to learn on the computer, but I wear funny costumes and we do wordplay and games, and we're making the most of the schooling situation right now. And I have a really incredible class this year, so I'm very lucky.
Are they aware of the fact that you are a Punderdome champion? Does that mean anything to them, or tell us about that?
I try to teach them humility.
Okay,
So I'm not flaunting it too much in the
okay,
classroom.
that's all right.
But
Okay,
when Friday after Punderdome on Thursday nights, I'm still beaming, big
yeah.
smile on my face. So it's hard not to carry Punderdome energy into the next day.
What do they say? Are they proud of you? Do they say what did you do that night, or do they drill down on what the hell happened, or what? Or what
Well,
the heck happened?
the best thing is they start to bring puns to me. So, like I had a student the other day. He was so excited as soon as we got into class in the morning. He's like, "Miss, I have a pun for you." And he said, "What's a back scratcher made from?" I said, "I don't know. What's it made from?" He said, "From scratch." And he made that up on his own.
That's great. That's
So
amazing.
it's so great. So they supply me with materials. They get really excited because they know how much fun I have with it too.
That's a wonderful all the way around.
Yeah.
So one of the questions I have for you, is there a certain pun-related item that you have that is near and dear? Do you have any pun-related items? And tell us
Yes,
about
I
that.
do. And I should have gotten it out of the other room, but so
We have
I
time.
we have time. Okay,
How
can I
much
pull up
time?
my camera? I can run fast, but
Right.
hold on.
Good,
Okay,
good. Well,
I'll go quick.
all right, good, good. All right, we're good. Okay, just a little background on Hot Cross Pund. Again, she is a real presence, and her family, oh my gosh, they show up in force and support her, and it's been really fun to get involved with the whole family. Okay. She should be back in a second, and we'll see that item she's got that really is a cool, unrelated item. There
Okay,
she
I'm
is.
back.
Well, this is
So
perfect.
my favorite pun related item, I'm very lucky to live with a bunch of other teachers, and they put up with a lot of my puns. But for the first day of school this year, they made me this pun cactus pinata. So it says they wrote different puns all over it, like
Oh,
"you
wow,
grow
wow.
girl," all teacher related puns in Arizona and cactus. So I keep this in my room as a little daily inspiration. I don't have it in the room when I'm in the Punderdome competition. I think that would be unfair. But you know, just having really thoughtful people who know how much I love puns adds to the fun. So this is my
Great.
lovely pun cactus.
Well, everyone, thanks for sharing that. I got one final question for you. So now you've had 2 wins in a row, and I think hope you're feeling good about your pun ability. And anybody in particular you'd like to go one-on-one with, a Punderdome celeb champion that you say, at one point in my career, I hope I'm going doing a one-on-one pun off with whom?
Definitely Homestar Punter. She's just so phenomenal. I think she's #1 on the leaderboard right now.
She's in retirement now, but
She's in retirement now. So
that's
maybe
okay.
one
We
day.
might coax her out. Good. Tell us
Yeah,
why.
because she's just so hysterical. Like every single time I've seen her perform, I'm in stitches. And she connects them so well. She's so sharp-witted. I think I've learned a lot from watching her in the Punderdome. So I think that would be like a true test of how I'm doing to compete against Sam one day.
Do you think going into the round, would you feel confident to give her a run for her money?
Oof. I hope I'd keep her on her toes a little bit. Maybe it would have to be like a new topic to both of us. But yeah, I think I need a couple more dome wins under my belt before I'm really ready to go up against her.
Got it. Well, Hot Cross Buns, what a pleasure speaking with you. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time you compete.
Sounds great. I love being a part of the dome community. So thank you so much. This
Thank you.
forward to it all the time.
Say hello to the folks, will you?
Absolutely, I will.
Okay.